Welcome to the Seasons Podcast, where we explore the intersection of creativity, growth, and balance through life's ever-changing seasons. I'm your host, Autumn Hashi, interior designer turned mindset coach and creative mentor. Here, we speak with inspiring leaders, spirited entrepreneurs, and everyday visionaries about wellness, mindset, creativity, and intentional living, offering insights and tools to help you step boldly into your next season of self. Welcome back to the Seasons Podcast. Today, I'm joined by Dina, a multidisciplinary artist whose journey spans painting, acting, and photography. We explore her evolution from rejection to international art shows, the challenges of social media as a creative, and the power of vulnerability in art. Dina shares insights on balancing creativity, sobriety, and meaningful connections. And we side quest into a hilarious chat about getting our Instagrams hacked, OnlyFans, Foot Finder, and how one of the most iconic designers on earth got her start in the unexpected world of risque content creation. Welcome to the show, Dina. Welcome to the show, Dina.
Thanks.
I already know this is going to be the most unhinged, but the best time ever.
Why? You say so.
Because we always have the greatest time.
We do.
I feel like we're like a ping pong match. Like we'll like get into one conversation and we're like, but this and that and this and that. And yeah.
It's very true.
So I want to start with like, who are you? What do you do? Tell the peeps.
I'm Dina. I'm a multidisciplinary artist, I'd say. Yeah. Painter, actor. I do a little photography. I just dabble in all the things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I feel like you do everything.
Yeah. A little bit of everything.
Let's
Except social media.
Yeah, except social media. We were chatting about this before. Dina's like, I kind of like, you like lost a job because you're not good at social.
Like, you think I am because I'm always posting stories, but it's like actually natural for me and I'm not thinking about it. But then anytime like there's pressure to make something, I'm like,
yeah,
it's not fun anymore.
I feel like you're really good at that though. Like, I think it's interesting that you're able to just show up and be the artist and not have to have a social media strategy, because I feel like a lot of the internet is the opposite. People are like making shit up to make content, but you're like just doing the art and all you have to do is document it. But then even that sometimes is
that's hard.
Challenging.
Yeah, like I'm like, oh, I really just have to put my phone up and like film myself, or I'm like, I need someone. I honestly want eventually, like if my career like, you know, keeps expanding and I expand, I would love to have someone like assist me. Come do that for me. Because, like, I honestly, like, I hate it, like, taking the time to, like, put the camera up or, like, TikTok. I'm like, who gives a fuck? Like,
yeah. See, I'm on the other side, like, the content creator, and I'm like, oh, my God, there's so much content here. There's so much untapped potential. I just want to, like, get in there because you're doing so much cool stuff, and all you have to do is document it, and it's, like, so under like you're not maximizing it because you're doing the cool stuff. And a lot of people are making content out of, like, whatever, like not doing interesting things, but then the people that are doing the cool things aren't documenting it.
It's so true. Like I was watching like these 20-year-olds, they're taking over, like these models in like Paris, these guys, like 4 million views because they're like putting makeup on the subway. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I mean, nothing. I guess it's just like the simplicity of like doing such dumb shit and people will watch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, life is so hard.
But honestly, I feel like it's like a benefit that you can just create art and you don't have to make it about social media. Because like I feel like I'm stuck in a place where I have to create social media in order to get business, but like you're getting business anyways.
Yeah, but I think I could get more probably.
Yeah,
totally.
It's true.
But it is a lot. Even I do have like already a bit of a presence like on social media just because like I don't know, I've built a following through like modeling and stuff, and like I travel a lot. So I do still get like opportunities that way. Like the last job that I got on that movie, the role I got was through Instagram. Like someone messaged me being like, we're looking for this one role, and like I remember you were acting, and it just like it happened through that. So like it does help having a presence. Like it does, I guess it gives you, what am I trying to say here?
Well, it's funny because like you don't have a social media strategy, but you still have a good Instagram.
Yeah.
Like you're still doing shit. You just don't want to have to like conform to like give me this content every month. You're just like, whenever I feel inspired to post, I'll post.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it is working for you though. You are still getting work.
For sure.
But I think, like, do you feel the pressure of not having a strategy? Like feeling like, oh my God, like I don't have a strategy. I need to be like, is that something that's like on the back of your mind?
100%. Just because, again, like I'm seeing these like 20-year-old kids and they're doing such cool shit. I'm like, I should be doing cooler shit. Like I have so much to say and do and give, and like I'm always full of ideas. And then I think I get like, yeah, I get stuck because I'm like, I don't even know where to start. But
Yeah.
it always on the back of my head, I'm like, I need to make cool stuff to like be seen or like collab with brands. But I'm like, how do I do that?
But it's funny because you are doing the coolest stuff. Like most people want to be like a professional artist with art in like Paris. And you're like, I want to be doing cool things like the boys putting on makeup in the subway on TikTok. Like that's absurd. It's so funny. It's
No, but I mean, like, these guys get invited to, like, go to, like, Paris Fashion Week. But then I'm like, do I even want that?
yeah.
Like, I think it's, like, we always, like, look at something, we're like, oh, I want this life. And then you're like, do I really? Like, I hate events. Like, I'm like...
I want to go to Paris Fashion Week, but I hate events.
I really do. Like, there's this, like, event that's happening in Toronto right now. Like, every single person I know is posting about it. I'm like, not one part of my bone or cell in my body wants to go.
But you're still mad you weren't invited.
I was invited. I was actually, okay?
So funny.
But I'm like, ew. Like everyone's I'm like, oh. I'm like, I don't even understand what the event is. I'm like, but like everyone in Toronto was like, yeah, let's go. And I'm like,
Yeah, it's interesting, the world of social media and how it's like a blessing and a curse in that like I don't like feeling like I have to show up every day because also like we're both projectors and like our energy comes in waves and sometimes we want to be seen and other times we want to retreat and like get the fuck out. Like I don't want anyone talking to me. I want to be alone. And you have to have a certain level of consistency on social media and sometimes you just don't feel like it.
no, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's just like weird time to be alive, you know?
But in the same regard, like I can credit social media to like my entire career. Like every single job has come through social media, all my networking, this podcast is going to live on social media. So it's like this like double-edged sword. I think it's finding boundaries. Cedar, he's the star of every show. It's creating boundaries and having boundaries. I feel like it's hard to withhold your own social media boundaries. Like sometimes I'm like, I'm not going on social media past this time. And it's hard to like live up to that and actually commit to boundaries.
100%. Like, I mean, my relationship with it has changed a lot. Like I used to be on Instagram all the time, and now like I'll go and I'll check messages, but like I'll post something and then I'm off. I'm like, but that's because I feel like I became more confident in like just myself and what I'm doing, and like my interests are just I'm like more invested in my art that I'm like I don't have time to sit around scrolling like my friends will send me like reels. I'm like I can't even look at this anymore. Like just like skip. But then there's me too, like at 3 a.m. when when my ADHD is like full on. I'm like sending my friends reels. I'm being the annoying one. Why are you replying?
Ryan sends me so many, and like I don't watch as many of his as like I send them, and I get so mad if he's not watching the ones that I send him. We'll even do like a viewing party. I'll be like, let's look at all the things I sent you, and it comes to one like that he sent me, and I'm like, skip. He's like, I sent you that. So funny.
Yeah, but I definitely like you can learn a lot from social media. Like I learned a lot about art like that, and then you know I got really obsessed with cooking, and like my whole Instagram is like recipes. Have I made any of them? No.
It's just to save for later, for never.
Yeah, save for forever, for later.
Save for never. It was interesting that you said that when you started doing art, you were like constantly on Instagram and it was almost like seeking validation, like posting something and then like waiting for the response. And it's interesting that you've grown into a place where you're confident in your art. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, just in like my journey with like just growth with myself and like you know, I think we have similar practices, and like the more I spend time with like loving myself, the less I'm like obviously looking for the validation from the outside world. But like you really have to fully like be embodied with yourself and happy with yourself. And I mean, that's a constant like challenge and like them always evolving. But yeah, I just feel like I started like reading more and like, you know, taking time to actually like develop myself as an artist. And with that, I just got more confident in what I was doing and my work and my worth. And like, I'm like, I don't need to, if someone doesn't like my art, like it doesn't, that's not going to affect me because I know how much I've grown in the last couple years and that's all it is. So yeah.
I think art is so cool, and the fact that you are an artist, like that's a pretty big deal. Like there's not a lot of people that I know that are like artists who are selling art. Like tell me about how you got into art and like how it's grown, because you're doing big shows.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing one in Toronto actually, which is I'm excited about because I haven't had one here in like 2 years, and I feel like I've evolved a lot. So I'm excited for people to see like the evolution. How did I start? So I always painted and drew like all my life since I was a kid, and when I moved to Canada, I wanted to go to an art school. So my parents found this like amazing high school. It's called Unionville. It's in Markham. I applied to the art program and the drama program, and I didn't get into both. I was like, yeah. I was like, okay, because I wasn't really like trained as an artist, and I feel like a lot of kids that were coming in, they were like really trained or like.
How old were you?
14.
And they said no to a 14-year-old? Like what kind of art were they expecting?
There were some good artists. Yeah. I mean, and I never really like, yeah, I wasn't really trained. So I had like a shitty kind of whatever portfolio. And then I also auditioned for the drama program and also didn't get in because also like I didn't speak English that well yet. And so like that shattered my fucking dreams. And I was like, what am I gonna, I'm gonna become a model because I was like, I wanna do something that's like cool, you know? And like that was really challenging because I wasn't tall enough to be a model. I kept getting rejected too in that world. And I built a lot of like I guess, what am I trying to say? Like I like became really self-destructive during that time because I was like, "Oh, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't like this world, but I'm in it because I was like, I thought it was cool. And then hit around 25 years old. I remember like this exact night. I'm like in a club in Milan. It's my birthday, and I'm like, I hate what I'm doing. Like I had this like everything flash in front of me. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I was like partying, I was doing drugs, I was sleeping all days. Like I was just like in a really dark place, and I didn't know who I was.
Were you in Milan for modeling?
Yeah. And like I was barely like I wasn't really working. So it's like all this rejection constantly because I'm like not tall enough, you're not skinny enough. I'm like I'm always like out partying, so I look like shit too. It was just like this whole I was self-sabotaging 100%, but it was like imagine you going to a casting and it's like 150 girls in front of you. You're like it's fucked up. It's like mentally fucks you up.
Yeah.
And then so I was like that night I was like I'm done. Like I'm done with this. I need to figure something out. So I moved back to Toronto, applied to George Brown for graphic design. I lasted 1 year, barely. It was like I first of all cannot do like a structured environment. Like that's not for me. I was having a really hard time. I would come in like crying every day. My professor was like, "Are you good?" I'm like, "No, I'm not." Like one of my profs wrote me a letter being like, "Rome wasn't built in a day. You need to find a good mentor and just like go out to the world." Like he was like,
Aw, I love him.
yeah, me too. Cause I had like nice conversations with my teachers. Like, you know, I come in and like I'm a mature student and I was like, I'm cool. Like smoking smoking cigarette. I'm just kidding. But I was struggling. I was like, I don't know how people do this. Like 6 classes. I was like, I couldn't do it. So I dropped out of school and I was like, and then it's around the same time like the pandemic happened and I just started like painting again in my apartment, and then people were like buying my art. So I was like, oh, people like what I'm making, and then from that it just kind of evolved.
Was
So it's
that like the first time you painted since you were 14 and you got rejected?
no, I would dabble here and there, but like really not any like I just would I would paint here and there, but like that was just weird. I just started like painting again. I was like, oh, like I love doing this.
So what was your first, like, the first couple of pieces that you made while you were in the pandemic?
What were they?
Yeah.
They're just abstract. Like I was doing a lot of abstract work. I was actually figuring my style out. I still am, you know? It's crazy because you think like I always have this like conversation, but it's like it's so hard to figure out your style. and you're like looking at so much art, and like sometimes even recently I was doing so many paintings, I was like, nothing looks cohesive. Why? Because I'm looking so much at other people's stuff, and I'm like, and I'm not following my own impulses and my own trust with like what I'm doing. And like every time I stop doing that, like looking at other people's stuff and just like truly trust myself and my impulses, that's when the best work comes. So I think it's just like doing that. Like, and you doing it on repetition, you just get better naturally, right?
As an artist, you're always going to be evolving and growing. So like trying to pick a specific style, it's always going to change and evolve. It's the same with interior design. Like if I look at a project that I did 5 years ago and I'm not like repulsed by it, it means I'm not growing enough.
100%. That's me, like constantly. Like I'm always like, I'm looking at my work now. I'm like, how can I get better? What am I trying to say? I'm also like, I've never done that because when I started painting, yes, it was all like me posting with my art and like using my looks, like I did that because I was like, I can, and this is how I can get a lot of followers. And now like when I do that, I feel kind of repulsed by that too. I'm like, when I don't post me with my work, I'm like, do I get less likes? Sure. But I'm like, I actually just want people to like the work. I want the work to speak for itself. And I think that has so much more value than just like, like being hot with your art. I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It's like weird. Like I have like, it's like I've shifted so much this like last year with like my relationship, like I said, with myself, I think, and like worthiness, that I'm like, I want to actually just make really fucking amazing art and people to love it and not to be like, this Instagram model fucking posting with her work.
Yeah. Art is also so subjective. So like when you were starting to share your pieces, how did you get over like the vulnerability of sharing something? Like abstract art is so vulnerable because it could go any way. Like how did you have that confidence?
I still don't. Like, are you kidding me? Every time I have a show, I'm like hiding in the bathroom somewhere. Like, it's so hard. And especially like doing shows in other countries where no one is speaking your language. And you're just like, I don't know. Do they like my work? Like, it's really hard. I think that's always going to be a part of the vulnerabilities. Like, you're really showing a part of yourself, right? So it's like, I don't think that's ever going to go away. You just kind of like learn how to like work with it better. Like, I used to like just get fucked up at every art show I had. And now I'm like trying not to do that because like my relationship with alcohol is changing too. And it's like, so like being there, present, is even harder, right? Because you're like fully just like observing what, like, is that person looking like, they look like they don't like my art or something?
Yeah, I actually can't imagine how that would feel because like I get very vulnerable about design as well. And like you want people to like it, but at the same regard, like art is also like you want to evoke any emotion. So even if someone like hates it, you're evoking an emotion. So like standing in a room full of things that you poured your heart into and watching people judge it.
Oh, yeah. Or imagine, I don't know if I ever told you this, but there's this magazine called Abstract Mag on Instagram. They have like 1 million followers. And they posted one of my photos with me, with my art, and I had like a crop top on. You should see the comments. It was like, people were mean.
Really?
Oh my God. It was like 50-50, which I was like, whew, thank God it's not all bad. But people were like, just another rich kid, like no talent, like so much, like just like showing her abs, like all these like really, really mean things were said. And I cried obviously, because it's like, it's a lot to read. I was like, I didn't come from money at all, but people are like, just like a trust fund baby, like has no talent. I'm like, wow. Like, you don't even know me, and this is the judgment you're putting on me just because I'm wearing, like, a crop top and I'm a hot chick.
Yeah.
Which is really shitty.
It's so shitty. But you have to think, like, the people that are leaving mean comments on Instagram, like, who are you?
No, I looked at all, like, I took some of my time to look at something. I'm like, loser. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Loser.
But, like honestly,
this
though.
50-year-old man, I'm like, you have nothing better to do than, like, shaming a young woman? Like, I was like, what is wrong with these? Or, like, older women? I'm like, ew, who are you?
Yeah.
But it is still hurtful. But, like, now I wouldn't even take the time to do that. But it's like when you're still, like, when you're still figuring yourself out as an artist, you're also very vulnerable. So like when you see someone saying mean things about you, it makes you like question everything, right?
Yeah, and like you're always seeking that validation, and when you're reading comments about your work, obviously you want them to be positive. I remember when we announced that we were doing Hotel Julie, someone commented on one of my pictures that I was going to ruin a heritage hotel and I'm like, I haven't even started yet. What are you talking about?
Yeah, people have the time to be mean and like judge, and I'm like, okay, like we all do it, of course, like naturally. Like I'll go and be like, oh, this fucking Paris Fashion Week 20-year-old.
I want to be there, but I don't actually want to be there.
I probably would be like, no, not for me. Like I swear, like this like year, I've learned so much about myself as like I'm such a homebod. I'm like, me to go out, I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't care
same.
to. Yeah, and like I mean, like the only reason I do go out is like I'm single, so it's like, how do you meet people? I'm like, well, cooking school,
Yeah,
or like doing classes or trying things, but it's like, yeah, you get bored like being alone all the time. But I'm actually like so comfortable with it.
yeah, I totally agree. I love being at home.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about the first time you sold a piece of art. What did that feel like?
Oh yeah, amazing. Who did I sell my first piece? I think it was like someone off of Instagram. Yeah, just like messaged me like I won this painting. Came and like it was during the pandemic. They came to my house and picked a painting up for like, and they paid me like $1,200. And I was like,
Wow.
Yeah.
For your first painting.
My first painting.
That's insane.
It was like a 4x3. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just made $1,200 from a painting. I'm like, this is a good job.
Yeah.
But then like there's times where I don't, like, it's been really slow right now. I'm very lucky. I have a really good gallery in Paris, and he's in France, sorry. And he's been selling art for me, but like Toronto, really quiet right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I want to have a show here, like maybe like get people to see my work again. But like this is not my market.
But art is like your full-time job. Like you're fully making an income off of art.
Yes.
That's insane.
I know.
So how did you get your art into Paris?
Okay, so I'm a person that like is probably insane, but I will message galleries that I like. That's how I started. So like my first, like if I get obsessed about something, like let's say for me it's acting and art and like film, I will like nerd the fuck out. Like I will like Google every like gallery, who's doing what artists are around. So I made like a network of artist friends, and then I also I would reach out to galleries. And sometimes they'll reach out to me. Like that's just. So yeah, their Instagram is useful, I guess.
Yeah.
In that way. But like I was like that when I was modeling too. Like I would go to Milan and I'll be like, who are the best photographers? DM. I'm like, well, they're gonna say no, maybe, but maybe they'll say yes. You know, you just have to like I take risks. I'm a crazy person like that.
I feel like you have an incredible network though. Like I always see you like hanging out with different people, and I feel like you're really good at also like nurturing your relationships.
I try
like
to.
every like 3 weeks, you're like, hey, let's go to Othership. And you just like, it's like clockwork. Dina's in my inbox. She's like, hey, we need to go sweat together. Hey, let's
For
go.
sure. I think like when you start like valuing people around you, and like I don't have time to hang out with people all the time. Like we're fucking busy. Like
Yeah.
I get it. So it's like nice even if you see someone like once a month, but you like you nurture your friendships because they're important.
Yeah.
And like for me, my friendships are very important. I also like value people who are around me like a lot. And I want people around me who like are growing with me, and like, you know, you want your circle to represent of who you are. So yeah, I think it's like I've also cut a lot of people out in the last couple of years, and I'm like nurturing new relationships. And like we were talking about to be magnetic, right?
Yeah.
And they talk about like you want expenders in your life.
Yeah.
People that you value. Like I'll look at you. I'm like, I value like your relationship that you have, and like how you present yourself. And I'm like, I want people like that around me, right? Who are like inspiring me in like other ways that things that like maybe I don't have, but they're like they have it, and I'm like I can have that. If my friends are having that, you know?
I think it's so important to surround yourself with expanders because, like, our time is so finite, and like having a smaller circle, but a circle filled with people that are like doing really awesome things. And like every time we catch up and hang out, it's like we have 100 new hobbies and we have so many things to talk about. We're both always doing cool stuff.
Literally, I'm like, I get tired after we hang out. I'm like, holy shit, that was a workout.
Literally.
We're like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm cooking, I'm doing this, I'm boxing. You're like, I'm skateboarding. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
When did this start?
That's literally
You're like,
exactly what we're doing.
Literally, I'm like that time when I was in New York and I saw like those like like the little
Shuffling.
shuffling, like little like Asian
An
lady
Asian crew shuffling. Yeah, and she
like,
sends it. She's like, "It's you." I'm like, "That is me, absolutely."
you in 20 years.
Yeah, so funny.
But yeah, I mean, I want to do so much more. I wish there was two of me. I'm not even joking. I'm like, I want to direct. I want to write movies. I want to like da da da. I'm like, and then like all of these ideas are like they're exciting, but then you get also tired because you're like, I kind of sometimes like feel like I get stuck because I'm like, where do I like how do I start all of this?
We were chatting about this on a walk the other day about how we have so many ambitions and hobbies, but we also love to be good at things. And so there's this like this desire to be good at something, but also understanding that like it's okay to just do things for the sake of joy, but like having a hard time doing that because we're like, well, I want to be good at cooking, I want to be good at skateboarding,
100%.
and then it's literally just the amount of time, because it's like in order to be really good at any single thing, you need to dedicate a lot of time. But when we want to do so many things, everything just gets like a little bit of time,
and then you get bored of it, and you're like, well, what's next? But some things stick. Like for me, like art is gonna be a forever. Like I'm gonna die painting, and acting is something that I've just recently like discovered that I love so much, and I've grown so much from it. And I'm like, this is my time now. I'm like, I'm gonna give it my all, and then like whatever happens out of it, whatever, I'm gonna accept that too. Like I don't need to like, well, of course I want to be like the top, but like I also just do it because I actually find so much joy in it. Like I went to class 2 weeks ago and I cried, and I was like, and they're like, why are you crying? I'm like, because I come here to make art, and it means so much to me. Like it's, and especially when your heart sticks to like a story you're telling, like I can't like explain how much value I get from that.
We were chatting the other day about like embodiment and how I love that a lot of your creative practices are like involving your body, like making art and acting. It's like all things getting into your body. And I'm trying to do more of that because I feel like I spend all my time hanging out in my head. So I would love to hear more about acting, how you got into acting, and like what the classes are like.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because you were saying that you.
Yeah, I did try it once. Oh, it was terrible. I tried. I went to. There's a school on the East End. I don't know. Annie Clark went there. That's why I wanted to go there. Annie Clark was from Degrassi, and a friend of a friend knew her. And I was like, well, if Annie Clark went here, I'm going
You're
here.
Hilarious. But listen, like acting is like, okay, so like we said, we like to be good at things. I thought I was like, of course I'm gonna be good at it, and I wasn't. I was shit because I also live in my head a lot, right? And like that's like the one thing like an actor shouldn't do is like you can't be living in your head, and you have to really like attach yourself to a. Okay, let me explain this. Okay, so yeah, like again, like you can't be good naturally. You have to learn, and like I think at first I would come in and I'd be like, okay, well this is a story. I have to cry here, or like I have to feel these feelings, and then I would like try to make something out of my head. But that's not how it works. It's like every time you could tell a story in so many different ways because you can attach your heart to it, and then you could be mad at someone but you could still be smiling, or like you can have a breakup but you don't have to be crying because of that. So it's like you can't like direct how it's gonna go, and I think when I let go of that and I just try to like sit and listen and be present, that's when the growth happened too.
Yeah, like through the classes that I took that I was awful at, it was all about like responding and like listening, because like a lot of the times, even like in conversation, we're thinking about what our next thing is, what we're going to say next, how we're going to continue the conversation, and we're not being present and listening and responding. And that's what acting is.
Yeah, I think it's like that simple, but it's that hard because you're also like attaching someone else's words, right?
Exactly.
So you're
telling you do have things you have to say.
Yeah, and like our practice is very playful. We do like the craziest shit. Like they'll be like, do it as a 5-year-old, do it as like a swamp monster. You're like, like literally whatever swamp monster means to you, but like, or like do it as a 5-year-old. You're like, how does a 5-year-old react? Like you're like, no, I don't want to do that, or like, and then you're like I was in my head I had class on Tuesday and I had to do a 5-year-old, and usually like I do not care, I'll do it whatever. And then this time I was like in my head, I was like, my 5-year-old sounded dumb, and I was like, why are you judging your 5-year-old? Like literally, but I was like, I saw myself like outside of my body, and that hasn't happened to me in a while, but I was like judging the whole process. And I think maybe it was like the scene, maybe I didn't feel so comfortable about it, so like that could have happened. But yeah, like our practice is super playful, and then from the play comes the truth. Because like if you're doing it as a swamp monster, you're like, and then like, okay, now say the line.
Yeah.
You don't have time to think.
Exactly. And that's where all the magic comes from, just like trusting yourself and like getting into it. And I feel like you have, I always say, I feel like we're going to need to cut all the I feel likes. I say it all the time.
I don't even know what I'm saying. Like, what?
I feel like I said it again. That one was on purpose.
Yeah, yeah.
You put yourself in so much vulnerability. Like literally everything you do is like, you're like, how can I be the most vulnerable? I'm going to be the swamp monster acting class. I'm going to put my heart on canvas. Like that's
I don't
a
know
lot.
why I chose torture. I literally did. Like, I'm like, you know, like, and we can, I'm going to bring this up too. Like, we've talked about this. Like, I've struggled with addiction all my, like, and like, I'm trying to like rewire how I talk about that addiction. Cause like, I don't want it to be like a negative thing. I think a lot of it was being uncomfortable. It's like the ADHD.
Yeah.
And like putting yourself out there. So like I would like struggle a lot with like, you know, you put yourself out there so much and you get rejected so much. So I would go out and party to like forget, but then you're like down the rabbit hole even more, and then you feel like a piece of shit. So like now I've also learned like my relationship with that has changed, because I'm trying to value myself more instead of like self-sabotaging myself. And like that's really cool, because like that's like my relationship with that is changed. Like, oh, I have a problem. Before that's how I would see it, and now it's like I just don't need it.
Yeah, it's a massive shift to not have those things to rely on anymore and to actually feel your feelings.
Yeah.
Because I was like weekend warrior. Like every weekend I was like doing all the things, staying up all night, sleeping all day, and like basically like numbing, forgetting, and then repeating the cycle and moving into like sobriety. Like Ryan and I are also sober, and it's such a different world having to deal with your emotions and not have any crutches.
For sure. And listen, I still will, like, I will fall off sometimes. And like I think and that's because like I am alone. Like I'm like, again, like I'm single right now. So it's like I go out and there's like dates and like all of that. So I'm like, I'm still learning like my boundaries. But like for me, like I feel like I just have to stay at home most of the time, and that's it. Because it is hard. Like you go out there and people around you are drinking, like, and then you're like, it's like boring for you because you're like, I'm on a complete different level. So it's like for me, like learning how to just like, I just like don't go out as much.
Yeah, it's challenging to navigate.
And I think you have to figure it out. Like the more you do it, it's like a practice. But I think like, yeah, I just like, I say no to a lot of things now because I know something will trigger me and I will drink. And then it's like, and then I'm like ashamed and then I feel like shit. And like, I don't want to do that to myself.
Yeah, I think it's becoming more common that there's more opportunities to do things without drinking. Like Ryan and I met at a cold plunge, and I feel like because drinking was never really a big part of our relationship. We drank a bit in the beginning, but then it's been about a year and a half since we stopped drinking. And the only things that we attend are things where there's not alcohol. Yeah. So I think if you find the people that are more in line with that, you'll find more opportunities. Like I remember we went to like a DJ, and I saw
that. I think you were like dancing sober or like.
Oh no, but that was also cool. Oh. That was a reunion. Rachel Melinda has like a all women dance party thing.
Love it.
But Ryan and I went to this DJ with some of our like wellness friends. I guess they're all wellness friends with some of our friends, and like we could smell the alcohol in the bar, and everyone was like, "What the fuck is this?" Because we just don't go to bars anymore, and we're like, "Oh my god, it smells so gross." But it's like it's so funny how that was so normalized, and now we're in these spaces and environments where it's just like people just aren't drinking.
For sure, and I think that's another thing for me. Probably is like I do need to like expand my circle in that way, because a lot of my friends do still drink, and
yeah,
like, and so I'm like, and a lot of times I'm like very careful with who I'm hanging out and when.
But and like I don't know what the art industry is like, but like if the art industry is an industry where there's drinking, then obviously you're connected to that. You can't change the whole industry to be like a sober industry.
Well, it's hard. It's hard. Like my first show I had in Copenhagen, the first night I was so good. I'm like I didn't drink. I was like so proud of myself. Second night I'm like, I'm so nervous. I'm like, everyone is like looking at my art. Everyone is drinking wine in front of me. I'm like, fuck it. And then I went out that night. I think I lost the whole gallery. I was like out at some bar till like 6 a.m. I was like, this is just like a very slippery slope. But it's like, yeah, but I think I would have so much more value if I had a show and I like was sober the whole time and I could see people's reactions and I could have normal conversations instead of running away from it. So just like, yeah, it's like learning and figuring that out. I think just takes time.
It's definitely easier also having an anchor because, like, if Ryan wasn't here, I can't say the same. Like, Ryan is my rock, and it's hard when we also have all or nothing personalities, and
I'm
it's
listening,
like
sorry.
Cedar. We have these all or nothing personalities where it's like, for me, one glass of wine turns into 8 a.m. in someone's kitchen the next day.
100%.
It's like I don't have any in between.
I don't have in between. Like I've tried so many times. Like I always go max.
Yeah.
Because like I get excited when I'm drinking. Like it's so fun.
Well, it's a dopamine rush.
And then
we
I'm
have
like,
ADHD,
yeah.
so it's like we're riding that dopamine high.
But then you're like taking shots like it's water, thinking you're not gonna get fucked up, and then you're like blackout. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not a superhuman. But yeah, it's like but I find like you said, like I think for me for sure, like if I was in a relationship, it would be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because like how do you meet people? I'm going on dates sober. Oh, it's hard.
Yeah.
I'm already awkward as fuck. I'm like, no.
It is interesting going on dates sober.
I know. Every time I will say to someone like, yeah, I'm not drinking. I'm going on a date. I'm like, okay.
Just kidding.
Just kidding. Yeah.
So for acting.
Yes.
So you're doing the acting classes. It's like improv classes?
It's kind of like improv. Like we have a script. We're not like so attached to the script. It's like you can say in your own words. And that's actually something that I realized was challenging for me if I'm getting an audition. Is like, I'm like, oh fuck, now I actually have to like memorize the lines. But in there, we get to like be really playful and like it's not so like structured. Like you can say it in your own words, like stitch your heart to what you're saying, right? And that really helps.
Where are you doing these classes?
It's called MAP.
Okay. It's
in the East End. We are actually moving to a new location, but it's like the best school. I go twice a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
like,
so cool.
I would go 3 times if I could afford it. It's like it's expensive, but like I love it so much. I'm watching other people like tell stories. Like everyone is so fucking good, and you're just like sitting there and you're crying and you're like feeling, and I love it. Like I'm like, because it's slower right now. Like auditions are not as like there's not that many auditions right now, just because the industry's like in a wonky place. So I'm like, if I can't audition or do anything, I'm like, at least I can go there and make art. Like, and that's so important for me.
I do want to try it.
You should.
Yeah.
Come do like my friend was gonna do it yesterday, but you can come and sit and watch as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah, you can audit a class, and then if you like it, you do like I think they have like every couple months they have like a whatever it's called.
An open house?
No, like I can't think of the word, but like
a presentation?
No. Like oh my god, I can't.
Performance?
No, like
okay. They have something once a month, and you can come.
Let me find it. Hold on. What is it called? Like I can't think right now. Like oh my god, I'm blanking. Here, 1 second. Orientation.
An orientation. Okay.
Wow.
We got it.
Holy shit. English is not my first language, so
it is mine, so I have no excuse for when I'm blanking out looking at the corner.
But I'm like, what am I trying to? Sometimes like I know like I come off as like English is like I speak fluently, but like fuck, it's hard. Like words, I'm like, what is that word?
What is your
Russian is my first, and then Hebrew is my second.
Wild.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
So like English is my third, but I'm like I don't really know any languages. Like my English is my Russian is all fucked up now. My English is all fucked up. My Hebrew is all fucked up.
You talk to your mom in Russian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen you on the phone chatting with her.
Yeah,
so
still
cute.
I'm still fluent, but like my cousins in Russia like make fun of me. Like you have such a weird accent. I'm like you have such a weird accent. I'm like I can't read Russian.
You can't read it?
I can't because I didn't go to school in Russia. I went to school in Israel. So like all my languages are just fucking like.
When did you come to Canada?
13.
Wow. That's wild. So you grew up in Israel.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on there right now.
Oh my God. Russia and Israel, babe.
Yeah, you've had a year.
Like, I've had to it's been hard.
I'm sure it's been hard. Do you have family over there?
I have family both in Russia and in Israel.
Wow. Is everyone okay?
Yeah. I'm not using my Instagram to be a fucking political person. I'm sorry. That's my choice.
Yeah.
And like people are like, well, you have such a big following, you should be talking about this. I'm like, I shouldn't be doing anything I don't want.
Yeah.
That's all.
Exactly. Like,
Like
we're
like you do you, I do me.
100%.
But it is hard. Like I definitely, like, this year has been really weird for me being like a Russian Jew, 100%. Like I want to be open about it and talk about that too, because people don't realize that, right? And like people will judge you as well. And you're like, okay, well, just so you know, I'm a human too. I immigrated 4 times. My parents started over like every single time. Like, in Israel, I got bullied for being Russian. In Russia, we just survived in Russia because that place is completely fucked up. And then it's like you come here and then and people like will call you out, but you're like, but you don't know my upbringing.
Yeah. People are so quick to judge and make comments. Like, I don't know how anyone can feel confident leaving an angry comment with no context. I just think it's insane.
Yeah, for sure.
So you do some volunteering. I want to talk about that. I think that's so cool.
I love volunteering. I've always loved doing it. Like ever since I remember, like I would always like to help out. I did some stuff with like sheltered youths for a while, and we would go to like camping with them, and
That's so cool.
It was so fun. And then I did this amazing little thing where I got invited to a school to talk to like these kids that were like from the age of like 5 to 13 maybe, and we did like a little photography thing together, and that like it fills me up so much when I can help. And like I don't do it for any like sort of reason, like for validation or anything. I actually just like enjoy it. Like I go to like the soup kitchen and it's like it makes me happy.
What is it like working at the soup kitchen?
It's wild. It's wild because I've actually I've seen people that I've known.
Like you've known them before wow.
Yeah. Like I've seen like someone who's was a friend, and I see her coming in, and like I haven't spoken to her yet because it's like I'm like I don't want to make her uncomfortable, but I want her to know that I'm there. But like it's broken my heart. So it is hard. You see people coming in of different ages, and like, but like I feel so nice that I can, they're so thankful. And like, I'm like, every time I leave, I just feel my heart feels so full. Cause I'm like, I get to feed someone. And like, they're like, that was so good. Like, they're like, that was the best breakfast I've ever had. And
you're like, yeah, I went to chef school.
Yeah. I'm like, well, I come into the kitchen, I'm like, Chef Mike, that's like the guy who runs the kitchen. I'm like, guess what? Cutting skills, like, they're like 10 out of 10 now. Like, I went to chef school for like two classes. I'm like pro chef now.
But that's so cool. That's another thing that I love about you is that you're always doing all the things and like going to school, like you went to culinary school. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I was just like, well, I love cooking, and I felt like I taught myself how to cook, which I think most people do, but like, and I started cooking for myself pretty young because I was traveling a lot for modeling. But I would eat like just like basic things, and I felt like I was still like not very confident with my cooking, and like I was like, so I just wanted to get more confident, and I was like, I want to like learn the basics. I don't know how to cut properly. And then I just went to school, and I loved it. And it's like my best friend came with me, and we did it together. And like that's another thing. Like, how can I meet people if I'm not going out to like parties and clubs? I can go to like classes, and like and I met like these two like awesome older ladies. They were like 2 nurses, and every day I would come in, I'm like, I have this on my hand. Am I gonna die? And they're like, no, Dina, you're fine. I'm like, are you sure? Like these 4 ladies were like, every time me and my friend Nicole would just be like, well, I have this, and and they're like, you guys are fine. I'm like, I just washed my hands after I didn't wash my hands after I touched a chicken. I'm like, am I gonna die? like everything just like, yeah.
Nicole has an awesome Instagram page, right? She does food photos?
No.
Oh, there's one that we've shared back and forth that like amazing.
My friend Anna.
Okay,
Plant
Anna.
Romance. That's also like this person comes into my life. Like we are so in tune with like on the same kind of wavelength, like sober, like amazing human being that I've never met. So like that's when I guess social media is a gift as well, because I have a friend who like doesn't even live here, and we like talk every day. And like someone that checks in on you, and I'm like, it's fucking amazing. And someone who's like making these beautiful plates, and like just like, yeah, we're very in line, and like she's become such a good friend of mine.
What's her Instagram?
Plant romance. Plant romance. Oh my god.
Plant
Let's
romance.
do that again. Do that again.
What's her name?
Plant romance.
Plant romance. Yeah, she makes like the most gorgeous meals that I save and also never return to. I'm like, I'm gonna make this one day when I'm good at cooking.
But like her story is just awesome. She's like such an awesome. Like she just started that like a couple of years ago too. You know.
I'm definitely inspired to also try cooking because I feel like that's like one of my shadows almost. Like I feel ashamed with like how bad I am. And it's not even that I'm bad. It's just that like Ryan is a chef and he's so good at cooking.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Take
I know.
a class with me.
So you did two
you have to
semesters?
do so the first one you have to do it's like the cooking 101. It's like everything. And then there's so many options. I did Thai cooking and like I want to do Italian and like there's sushi. Like there's so many options and like it's just so much fun. And you get to keep the food, bring it home. Like it's like I'm like $900 or like it's $400 for like it's $900 for the like the first course because it's like the longest and then it's like $450. I'm like to eat the
it's like grocery money.
No, literally. I'm like I'm learning how to cook sick food, taking it home. Like they feed us there. I'm like what? Like this is like the best. Yeah.
I think there's so many cool like night school options at George Brown.
Girl, I want to weld.
That's
like,
cool. What do you want to make?
I want to make sculptures out of like wire.
Ooh.
So
Oh yeah, I saw you had a wire sculpture the other day on your
I
stories.
was like, I want to learn how to weld. I want to like go to like a directing class. Like I want to do so many things. The thing is that everything costs money.
Yeah.
And like right now art, like I said, it's like a slower time. So like I'm definitely like struggling more than usually. And it's like, but like also my expenses are like insane. Like I have 2 rents.
Oh, because of your studio.
Studio rent, my apartment rent, like classes, like acting classes are like $1,000 a month. You know, it's like boxing this.
When you're doing art shows, like, what is that? Like, are you making money off of these shows?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So
my last show in Paris was amazing. I sold everything.
Wow.
The thing is they take 50%.
Okay.
But I still made a good chunk of money. And like my prices are going up too, right? Like now my paintings are like between 7 to 12,000.
Wow, that's insane. You could sell one and then not have to like work for the rest of the month.
Well, that's what I mean. But like my expenses are insane. Like literally,
Yeah.
like, but yeah, like if I sell 5-6 paintings, I'm good.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's nice, but like it just I feel like obviously I want to sell more, but like
Yeah.
we all do.
Of course. That's really cool. I there's so many things that I want to do too. Like I really want to try DJing. And I know
Same, girl.
I know I'm gonna get so sucked into it, and then I'm just gonna only do
DJ.
that because like I get obsessed.
I have a synthesizer in my studio.
Do you?
Yes.
That's so cool.
I want to make fucking scores for movies. Like I'm
Yeah.
the same. Like I want to do so much, and then like I think I freeze because I'm like, ugh, you know.
So one thing that I'm doing is like looking at my year holistically, and I'm doing these like seasonal resets where I'm basically like blocking off each season, and I've started to think about like what I want to learn in each season and then like holistically planning it over the year. And so I'm also thinking about like what activities would be best for each season. So like
That's smart.
something like DJing is something that I can do
Winter.
at home in the winter, right? Like I'm not going out anywhere. Something like dancing, probably want to do that in the spring or the summer because I'm going to want to practice outside. So that's what I've been like thinking about.
That's
so
smart.
I'm kind of making like a dream database of like all the things I want to do and then like actually looking because I feel like I don't like having that like in the back of my mind, like that like looming like, oh, I want to try this, 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 but like actually plotting it out.
I agree.
It gives you like something to look forward to.
For sure. I think that's like a really smart way to do it because like the same like my synth has been sitting in my studio for a year, but I'm like it's sitting there. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I also rushing? Like I can start playing my synth when I'm 50, you know? Like,
Yeah.
It's like, but because like right now I'm like I have to like value my time. Like what am I doing now? What's giving me like how am I like surviving right? No, I don't want to say surviving because that's like, but what
am I building towards?
What am I building towards? And right now it's like my art and my acting, and they take a lot of my time. And I'm like, I'm gonna nurture these 2 things for a while. And then let's say like, you know, the art picks up even more and like I have a really steady income coming from that, then I can like drift into other things and like direct and learn how to write, like, and then make music. But I feel like if I'm doing it all at once, then it's like, then I just like crash and then I sleep for 5 days.
Yeah.
I'm like, bye.
And it's also not possible. And so like the whole idea of like mapping out, looking into the future, it also lets you like release it from your brain for right now, because I'm constantly thinking about all the things I want to do. But if I'm like intentionally planning each season and I know what the like overarching mission for each season is, then I'm not thinking like I want to dance and I want to act and I want to this and I want to that every season. I'm like, okay, so like near the end of the year, maybe I'm going to move into doing the DJing or the whatever, but it's not like clouding my mind, because it's hard to focus when you want to do all the things, and you can do everything, but you can't do everything all at once.
No, you can't. That's what I've learned too. Is like, I can't. I'm not a superhuman.
Nobody is.
No.
And
I
also,
already do quite a lot.
and it dilutes everything. Like the more you put on your plate, the more diluted each thing is. And like, wouldn't it be better to give one individual thing all of your time and attention?
That's why I'm like, well, for me it's two things, but it's like I'm pretty committed, and that's even hard. Like acting takes a lot, because it's like a lot of mental and physical work. And then studio, it's a lot of time alone, fucking figuring out what the fuck it is I'm trying to, like, what am I painting? Like, I've been like, that's another thing. I'm like, I'm trying to like uncover like, what is my art really about?
Yeah.
And I didn't do that before. When I started painting, I was just painting, like painting. And now I'm like, well, what is the context of my work? What am I trying to say? Like, why these colors? You know, like I'm actually like sitting with myself and asking these questions. And like, I think that even takes a lot of time.
Do you have like a theme for your upcoming show?
Yes. It's called Playground.
Okay.
It's called Playground, and it's about, so like, again, like I have a lot of memories from like when I was growing up in Russia and in Israel, and like my favorite places was the playground. Like a lot of our kids, so it's like a lot, you go there and like, it's like your place of like freedom, and we all have these like memories and like, of this place that was like safe for me to go as a kid, even like even though like the world maybe was like crazy all around us, but like you have the one place you go and you kind of like, it's like your safety net. So like that's kind of like what my show is about. That it's like having that like the freedom of like play and playground and childlike memories, and like having this, because a lot of my paintings are very much like driven off, like I feel like they're very childlike, because like that's when I trust myself the most, and like I'm the most impulsive, and I feel like that's like what I want like the show to be about as well.
Well, it's like tapping into your inner child.
Yeah, well, that's really what it is, right? Like I think when I'm not thinking and I'm letting myself be free, that's when it's just me and like that little child playing, and I think that's when like I don't even use paintbrushes anymore. I like just use my hands.
That's so cool.
Yeah, like I really embody that like childlike mentality. Because I think, I think that's what I want the show to be about. But like also having that like juxtapose of like darkness as well, because you're figuring yourself out when you're a kid too. And like I have a lot of suppressed memories from my childhood, because like I guess like shit was hard, right? So it's like having like both like the play, but also this darkness. I think like, yeah, but like also, yeah, this like place of like freedom.
So cool. So like as an artist, how have you been like developing your craft? Like you said, you're painting with your hands now. Is it all just you're like just running with it, going with your gut?
So I obviously like I started like reading a lot about art and like watching a lot of about art and like, you know, like art history, because like I didn't know any of that before either, because I just kind of dove into it. But I'm like, you do need to have context of other people's work and what's been around, and like I'm reading a lot more books, and then you're just trying different things, right? So like you try something and then it feels good, then you lean towards that, and if something doesn't feel right, then you just don't. But I had to try so many different things to see like what speaks the most to me. Even like recently I said I made all these paintings because I was trying to do airbrush, and I was like, they looked cool, but I was like, I'm really like all over the map. I'm like, why don't I just like do what feels really good to me? And that's when I'm really like free and impulsive and just use my hands and like a lot of paint. And I'm like, that's what Dina is, not all these other things I'm trying to do, because I'm seeing so much of like other people's art.
So for your upcoming show, how many pieces do you have to make, and like what's the process like to do that?
I think I'm gonna have about 5 to 6 pieces. I'm working with a graphic designer. Her name is Sarah, and we're making this huge carpet for the floor. It's gonna be all like these blue tones, and then I'm making these like crazy pillow shapes out of yellow. So it's gonna be very much like mimicking a playground, but like an internal playground. So I want people to come in and like wear. I'm gonna buy slippers for everyone because it's like the carpet. So it's kind of like you're in my like side, my brain, my childhood brain, like my child brain.
That's so cool. So like you are actually stepping outside of your normal medium. Like carpet is not something that you're really.
No, we've done a couple collaborations, but this one is gonna be like awesome because it's gonna be like the whole floor and like big pieces, and it's been like it's just this time I think I really. First of all, I took 2 months to prep for a show. That's never been me. I'm always like 3 weeks and like doing everything,
just painting.
Yeah,
morning and night.
literally. But it's gonna be like that anyway, because like I've been like like I'm just not as organized. But it's like I think you have to just like trust the process and it comes when it comes. You can't force it. But I definitely have been taking the time to really develop this idea. And before I'd just do something, put a name on it and be like, this is what it's gonna be about. No, like I'm working backwards this time. And I'm actually like, I have a concept, I have an idea, and it keeps evolving because I keep evolving. And like it just feels so much more truthful now.
I love that. And I feel like that's the same with interior design projects. Like you'll start a project and you have a concept, but like as you get into it, things evolve because your perspective evolves. You start seeing things come together and like the ideas just start growing. How big is this carpet?
It's gonna be big. Like 40 feet maybe.
So like how much does it cost to produce something like that?
Oh.
And like, are you selling the carpet as a part of the show?
Yeah, hopefully. But like, so the thing is, they're gonna be little different pieces, so people can choose pieces, and they're all gonna be layered on top of each other.
Sweet.
It's really
That's
cool.
really smart way to do it.
Yeah,
like,
and they're really fun shapes. Like they're awesome. So I'm like, I hope so. But yeah, everything is out of my pocket too, right? So like my show. This one is gonna cost me maybe like it's not that much. I'm like it's not that like 5,000.
Okay, I mean that's not that bad.
It's not
like,
that bad
for a giant rug. Like rugs are expensive.
Yeah, but we're doing it all in my studio. Like we're actually like making it all there. Like she's like with her gun every day.
So the graphic designer is like making the carpet.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah, we've worked on some together, and like this is like so she's kind of like in part of the show as well, which is awesome.
What's her name?
Sarah
May. Sarah May. Very cool. I think making a carpet would be awesome.
Yeah, and like the pillows. At first, I was gonna make these pillows like letters, but I was like, who wants like a yellow K? like let's make.
I mean, it's good for a kid's room.
I'm gonna make them into shapes. Like I think shapes are cooler.
Yeah.
Because the yellow is very. I think I have a piece. Hold on.
What do you like? What is the fabric that the pillows are gonna be made out of?
I'm gonna show you.
You have a piece of. She has a piece of the fabric in her pocket. Oh.
No. Wait, maybe. I thought I did. Oh. No, but it's like very yellow.
Is it what like type of material?
Stretchy.
Stretchy? Okay.
I don't know.
Cool.
It's like I was like, who wants like a yellow O, you know? Like I think shapes would be funner.
Are you gonna like do stuffing inside?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be like all layered on top of each other.
Very cool.
Hopefully. My mom was making them. Like literally.
No way.
Called mom to work. I'm like,
oh my
Mom.
gosh.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So she's making the pillows.
I find stuffing is hard for pillows. Like what I like to do is use foam. So like if you're
because they're shapes, I got
you
stuffing.
can cut foam into shapes because like I've made bolsters. Like we for Hotel Julie we made like 6 foot, maybe even longer. They were like the longest bolsters. They were like these gigantic things. They were like I don't know.
Like that?
Like I don't even know how big this is. I'm not good at measurements. Like 1.5 feet like diameter.
Yeah.
And we used foam, long pieces of foam because when you use stuffing, it will look like a crinkly like a snake.
That's
like because I've done them with stuffing before, the bolsters, and it never turns out the way I like.
Foam, eh? But like the shapes.
If you want them to be like crisp, I would do foam.
Okay, because I just bought 2 bags of stuffing.
Well, good luck. And if the material is also like stretchy material, it might be a little bit more challenging to make a pillow out of. Like I would probably do like a velvet or like a mohair or something thicker.
It's thick.
Okay.
It's the thing.
Where's
that piece of? Now I want to know. I thought I had it in these jeans.
Okay, if you're looking for fabric, I'm gonna give you a sick tip.
Okay.
There's a place.
I went to Fabric.
No, way better than that.
Oh.
This is like the designer secret. I'm going to give you guys an insider secret. I don't even know what it's called, though. It's near Home Depot. Ryan's going to look it up.
It's Fabric.
Is it Fabric?
St. Clair West?
Maybe it is Fabric. They have the best.
Yeah, I went there.
There's this like sneaky little place near St. Clair West, and
It
doesn't look like anything special because like there's gorgeous fabric warehouses in North York, like so many, but the fabrics are expensive. But this fabric place, everything is like so inexpensive. Yeah. You can buy the full roll.
That's what I did, and I got the stuff. But you think stuff? Okay, my mom made. Let me show you. My mom made a little letter, and I was like, okay, we gotta make these bigger.
I love that your mom is a part of this.
Duh. Put everyone to work.
Honestly, my mom.
Okay, this is the idea. Hold on, this is what it like.
Oh, that's so cool.
But then that doesn't look like it's foam.
No, it doesn't. It looks more squishy. So I guess if you're making it really squishy, then it could work.
This was a sample.
Okay,
but it has
it's looking good.
Looks.
It's a little lumpy, but I think it can work. Like if you're going for that more squishy vibe.
What else can I put in there? Like beads.
Beads? To make it like, well, I mean, yeah, if you want to make it like textured.
This show is gonna.
When is the show?
November 21st.
Okay, you've got lots of time. You can figure it out. Yeah, it's looking good. It's cool.
I think like I also was like, because I want them to be big. Maybe like, but I don't think foam would work because I want them to like.
Foam is also expensive, so if you want to like squish them up, like the ones in that window were like squishy, you're probably fine. So just take everything I said and throw it right in the trash.
I'm just gonna go cry a little bit after this podcast.
No.
Call mom. Mom! She's already so annoyed with me. I'm like, maybe not yellow, maybe it's gonna be blue, blah, blah. Shape. She's like, just let me know when you're ready. I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
Speaking of moms helping with projects, like shout out to my mom because every creative project I've ever done, my mom has been roped into. I'm like, hey mom, help. And she helps me with everything.
Duh.
The best thing we ever did, well, no, we did lots of amazing things, but one thing that's so hilarious is I was in charge of events for my school dances, and I wanted to do a Hollywood theme. And like one thing that I did was so sick. We cut out, like I made student council help me and my mom, and we cut out like thousands of stars and spray painted them all silver, and we strung them with fishing line all on the ceiling, like thousands of stars. It looked so cool. And I remember one of the teachers like kissed me on the head. She was like, Autumn, you've done it. And I was like, this is amazing. So anyway, one of the things that we did was we made a giant gold like award statue. Okay. And I told my mom, I was like, you can just paper mache on top of me. You know how long it would take? I would just be sitting in this mummy thing for like 5 days, and I thought that was gonna be a good way to make it. Anyway, we ended up making it out of like paper mache, and like we made a body out of newspaper, and not me. And it was actually so cool. It was like a 6-foot Golden Globe statue.
You would.
Yeah, I did. I did do that.
You did do that.
Yeah. This went by so fast. Okay, I want to ask you one more question before we go. You have the best style. Where do you thrift?
Me?
Give us a list. Like, I want to know all the best hot spots.
Okay, well, I love Essence, actually. Okay. That's not thrifting.
Yeah, no, that's super expensive.
Super expensive. That's why I'm always like, why am I so poor? Oh, yeah, because I'm Essence.
That vest is fire, though.
But I also like the Real is cool.
Okay.
It has some good stuff. eBay is awesome. And then if you're going in the city, I would do VSP Consignment is awesome.
What's it called?
VSP.
Okay, yeah.
I Miss You Man is awesome. There's so much good thrifting. Like all of Bloor.
Okay.
Like, there's a bunch of stores there, like Siberia Vintage. And then obviously the fucking
Value
Village.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, what is it called? Value Village.
Yeah.
But I don't really have that much time to thrift anymore. Like that's also like a fucking time consuming thing.
I don't think I've ever seen you wear the same outfit twice. Like you always have cool outfits.
Well, thank you. But I do shop online a lot. It's just easier.
Yeah. Cool.
And you can find really good vintage online. There's Grailed, which is really, really cool as well. Depop is awesome. There's like so many apps.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for that.
And Etsy is cool.
Really? For clothes?
People like, I have my little ballerina shoes and people always ask me, like, I bought them on Etsy.
That's cool. I feel like I would be scared to buy clothes vintage because you can't return them.
like
On like Depop or like Etsy, or can you?
I guess on the Real you can.
Okay.
It just like I think you have to pay for shipping.
Yeah. Which, like, as an ADHD person, if you buy it, it's never getting. You own it. You're not returning
literally
it.
Literally say that. For me, just to go to the fucking place to ship it off, I'm
it's mine forever,
like,
even if I'll never wear it again.
I literally had this. I bought this stupid like sweater dress that was way too expensive, and then it's been sitting there. I was like, I'm just gonna wear it. Like I just can't return. Like I don't have the capacity.
Right?
Like I could never. That's why people are like, you should like sell your clothes. I'm like, no.
Thank God for Ryan. Ryan is like the return master, and he has like a whole operation. If it wasn't for him, like I just buy things and then I just don't have the energy to return it. It's
Same.
like it's just gonna
It's
go
so
into
stupid.
it's gonna go into my drawer for like 8 years, and then I'm gonna donate it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I'm like, if I buy it, it's mine.
Yeah.
It's like, but I have time to do all these other things. But to go
To do
return,
a return,
that is
absolutely not.
I'm like, to print it, box it. That's like so many things.
We all have limits.
I know. I'm like, that's mine. I'm like, even if it's $500.
Yeah,
Like,
literally, yeah. You're like, oh, it's mine now, and I will not wear it,
Yeah.
and I will just live with this decision.
yeah. I when I was during the pandemic, my impulse buying, the shit that I was buying, I'm like, why?
We were going through hard times, Dina.
No, but like I was like I would like why? Like I just like I bought these like weird like colorful things. I'm like I don't wear like color. I
we
mean,
were trying to. It was the
Yeah.
energy. We were trying to like bring ourselves out of a pandemic. You
I
know?
was like I need this like fucking fur coat that's red and brown and yellow. I'm like then I got. I was like I look like a fucking peacock. Like, what the fuck?
And on that note, thank you guys for watching and listening to another episode of the Seasons Podcast. Thank you for being here, Dina.
Thank you.
Just one more thing. You said you were going to talk about how ADHD is a superpower.
We should talk about that quickly.
Okay. And we're back because we wanted to talk about how ADHD is a superpower because both Dina and I have ADHD.
Oh yeah.
Have you been diagnosed? Like, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was diagnosed when I was like 15.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
And then did you do any like...
Nope. Because my dad doesn't believe ADHD is a thing. Very old school fucking Russian. Well, it's not a thing. Depression's not a thing. I'm perfect. I'm like, maybe you have it too, Dad.
Yeah.
Like he's like, pills? What pills? I'm like, I'm scared to take pills.
Yeah.
Weirdly, because I wasn't scared taking any
Popping
other drug.
all the other pills.
All the other pills I'm down for. No, I'm just kidding. But like
Adderall though? Absolutely not.
This one time in school, my friend, he was like an 18-year-old kid, and like, you know, my homie, and like he was like, I have this Adderall, like, was it Adderall he gave me? My roommate comes home. I'm like in a tank top, smoking a cigarette, sweating on my computer. Like she's like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "I took a thing." I'm like, I finished a whole project that was like we had like 5 months to do or something. And like one night, I was like pacing around. I was like, I feel like I'm on crack. I don't know what this. I'm like hot. She's like, "You good?" I'm like, "I'm not good," but like I got the work done. But
because it is an amphetamine.
I was not feeling good.
Yeah.
I did not like it. I was like crackhead vibes.
I take Vyvanse every day and I love it.
See, like I might need to try, but then also like I've been doing a lot of microdosing mushrooms. I find that's been helping me a lot with like focus.
See, I like that until one day I took a little bit too much and I was like, ooh, like things are a little bit wavy.
Yeah.
And I don't want to feel like this
I take
right now.
75 milligrams.
Okay.
I don't feel anything. I do feel like I can really focus. So I'm trying that right now, but I definitely, and then like for me, like I definitely need to figure something out because I will crash for like days sometimes.
So that's what my biggest ADHD problem is. It's like when I'm not medicated, I have so many ideas that I go to bed. Like I have so many ideas that I get so overwhelmed with my brain just thinking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool, see you later. And I just go to bed. And I'm like, I'm just going to sleep for like 5 days and then maybe I'll wake up feeling normal.
That's same. And like I think that's why I was when I drank before too, like a lot, like I would shut off for a day after. I'm like I literally force my body to shut off like that way, and that's not healthy obviously.
Yeah.
But we do like have the ability to do so much because of our ADHD.
100%.
Like we're always like so enthusiastic about what we do too, and I feel like that's a superpower I don't want to lose either. You know?
Yeah. I feel like I still am getting all of the ideas. It's just like easier to manage because I
Yeah.
think before it's like I would get so many ideas and would be so much that I literally couldn't even like function. And the medication that I take a very low dose. It's like the lowest entry level dose. Cause same, I don't want to dampen down my creativity because that's my superpower.
Yeah.
But it has definitely helped me just like manage and focus.
Probably would be really helpful for me too.
I mean, it's worth trying. Like things like that, you can always try, and if you don't like it, you literally just stop.
For sure. Cause like me, like I'm like at my house and I'm like getting ready to go to the studio, and then I like look over, I'm like, oh, my plant needs trimming. I start trimming my plants, and then I'm like vacuuming, and then like 6 hours later I'm like, I just cleaned my whole apartment, I haven't left yet. It's like I get so sidetracked by little things. I
still do that even though I'm medicated, I still am like that. It's just like a little bit less, I guess. Yeah, but I got diagnosed really late. But like my dad is like, he's like the president of ADHD. Like
very opposite.
Like literally, like the man's is very ADHD, and it's so funny too. Like looking back at growing up and being like, Mom and Dad, there were so many signs. Like I was the kid that would like get an assignment for school and smash it into my backpack without a binder, and then like my binder would just be full of like random papers.
Yep.
Like
my first day of school is like, I get all the highlighters. I'm gonna be so organized, and then it's like
for 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes. Yeah. I'm like, I'm gonna be the best student.
All or nothing.
I was just going to school and like making fake report cards for everyone. I was like very using my creativity very young.
I really wanted to launch the podcast with me reading my report cards because I was like a hallway kid. I was like they would send me to the hall because I was talking all the effing time. I would be in the principal's office and I would be like cracking jokes with the principal. Like,
oh yeah, I was always in the I remember grade 9, or grade 10, it was grade 9, grade 10. My math teacher I skipped so much class, and like she sent me to the office, and then like the principal takes out all of my like attendance. He's like, how the fuck, have you missed more than 50% of these classes and you're still getting 50%? I'm like, exactly. I'm not failing. I literally, it was like more than I missed like more than 50% of the classes. I was like so good at skipping school. Professional. Like I would come in, I'd have a note, or like before my parents got home, I'd delete the messages. Like I had a whole system. I was just like smoking weed and drawing on binders, and then I was selling those binders for like $20, making money.
An entrepreneur from day one.
Day one. Hustle culture right here.
What's funny is like in my public school, they had this program called Trail. I don't know if you heard of it, but it was for like gifted kids, and they like sent us to the outdoor education center and stuff. And I thought I was so cool. And I grew up and I'm like, it was all the kids with ADHD. They just put us in a fucking group and they're like, these kids need to go outside. And they literally shipped us outside. And I was like, the whole time I thought I was a gifted kid and I was just the kid with ADHD.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, you are gifted. They just couldn't handle the gift.
They couldn't handle it.
Most people can't handle the gifts.
Like, we were doing experiments where we had to drop an egg off of a 2-story building, and we had to build the contraption where the egg wouldn't.
We did that too.
Did you?
I think all kids did that.
Did every kid do that?
It was a science problem. Like, I think it was.
All right.
You're like, we had these really. I'm like, every science kid in grade 9 had that project, I think.
Well. Anyways, yeah, growing up with ADHD was hilarious. And then, yeah, I ended up putting all the pieces together because I was like, I'm like depressed and I'm an outgoing, like happy person. I'm like, why do I feel like this all the time? And I like can't get out of bed, and put 2 and 2 together, looked at my dad, looked at my childhood, and was like, oh,
yeah, I know. I honestly, I still learn so much about my ADHD because it's like, I definitely think it's a gift of mine because I'm a very neat person. I get a lot of shit done. I use it. I've also learned how to manage it better. But then I'm always 10 minutes late everywhere. I'm always rushing somewhere because I'm in my own world.
Time blindness is the realest thing. I have to put in my calendar the time something is, the time to get ready, and the time to commute, or else it's not fucking happening.
I know.
I'll get the notification if I just put something in the calendar, and it's the time that it's starting. It's it starts at 4:00, and I get the notification it's 4:00, and I'm like, oh, I better get there.
Yeah, I'm not good at time management. That's my one thing. I'm I could never work a 9 to 5. I
Yeah.
would not last a day. Be like, sorry, I'm out. I'm like, people that I feel like I'm so blessed that I have like created a career for myself out of like doing what I love. Cause I'm like, no one it has a gun to my head to be like, go to the studio, you know?
Yeah.
Like, but it's also really like, I have to be really like good with time management myself because I have
Because if you're not going to the studio, then you're not making any
Yeah,
money.
exactly.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely a blessing to be an entrepreneur and make our own schedules and be able to work with our energy, because we also know that like sometimes we're not inspired and we don't have the ideas, and we can take a rest, because when we get the ideas, we're on
We're
it.
on
And we're
it.
like all day, all night, baby, let's go.
For sure. Same with like, I think we were, I was going to say something and I completely forgot. I had a good idea.
Going all day, all night,
Yeah, but then I don't
getting
know.
inspired.
Yeah, like you can't always be inspired.
No.
But it is like nice to have the freedom to create your own like time and schedule and whatever. Oh yeah, like that's what projector, right? Like if you read the projector's energy, we're not even supposed to be working.
Yeah.
They're
yeah.
like, projector just needs
Be
to
the
sleep.
lighthouse. Yeah.
And be invited. I'm like, sick.
Yeah.
But then I'll be invited and I still don't want to go.
Yeah.
But it's also like another way like of living life. Now I don't chase things. I used to chase a lot.
Same.
Like I used to chase like opportunity. Like that's what
I don't chase, I attract.
Yeah, but I like if I'm not like wanted and like someone sees me,
Don't want it.
don't want it either.
Yeah.
Like, but that's a big shift for me because I like even like the modeling thing, it was such a chase to be approved, to be like seen. I'm like, but I am a model. And now I'm like, fuck modeling. Like, why did I even do that? But it's like now I just like don't do anything that doesn't feel like very easy and right. Like
It's a massive shift in energy to just show up and let the things come to you.
To
Just
you.
show up, do your damn thing, be the lighthouse, and let the projects, the opportunities, the people
Yeah.
come to you. That's our role.
It really is.
All right. I
Okay.
think that was a nice
Yeah.
little extra. What's it? Not an interlude. And
We're both I'm like, I don't know.
I
either.
don't know. Anyway, thank you so much for
Thank
being on
you.
the podcast and for that extra little rant. That was fun. Bye.
Woo!
Woo!
Yay!
We did it.
That was
So
English.
that was good. That
I
went
keep
by
forgetting
so
words.
fast. I'm like, did we even get through everything?
Did we?
I was gonna talk about, you got your Instagram hacked once, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so did I. We'll save it for another episode. Yeah,
2 episodes.
another episode. Yeah.
We'll just do it.
Okay, so
Whatever.
you got your Instagram hacked once?
Yes. I never got it back.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
So
it
what
was
happened?
Some like weird email comes into my Hotmail. Back when I had Hotmail, and they were like, we hacked our Instagram, like send us $50,000 or something like that. I was like, I don't really need it that bad. But they like, yeah, they took over my Instagram. I had 50,000 followers on that Instagram.
Yeah, that sucks because you're like,
It was the rowdy Russian, but then she died.
yeah.
And that whole persona died.
You
and
know what? That's good though. I feel like that's like with the evolution of you. It almost had to
It
happen.
had to happen.
Because if you were still being called the rowdy Russian, like there's an expectation that your shit's gonna get rowdy.
Yeah, it was like it was a forceful reshift, but it was really hard because like I lost a lot of people that way, and like 50,000 followers.
Yeah.
Back in the day was a lot. Now
It's even a lot now. Like
but now I have
building that
less.
is impossible.
Now
Now
I got myself back to like 12,000 on my account, and like my art account has 21,000, but it's like it is impossible. Like if you're not fucking making those TikToks and reels, like that's what I'm. You're not getting followers.
Yeah.
I'm like every day. I'm like, oh, 1 follower, and then 6 people unfollow. Like, I just like, but I don't care as much anymore.
Yeah.
But you got yours hacked too.
Yeah, but there's probably like a sense of resentment too around Instagram. If like you had it at 50,000, then you had to start over. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, mine got hacked last year because I'm so stupid. So dumb because I really wanted to be verified. And so when I got the TV show, I was like, cool, I can get verified now. And I asked the TV peeps, and they were like, the TV peeps. I asked the people at the network, I was like, how do I get verified? And they're like, oh, you just apply through Meta.
Yeah.
And like, we'll let our Meta team know. And I was like, cool, awesome. So it's weird. I don't know how it happened, like exactly the amount of time that I was like reaching out to them. But anyway, I applied through Meta, like you do it in the app. And I got an email like 24 hours later that was like, you're approved, just log in. And I was like, how? Because I applied through the Instagram app. It wasn't like I clicked some shady thing. And I went in the email and I clicked the thing and I was like, ta-da! And then all of a sudden I went to log in and it was like, your account doesn't exist. So they changed they changed my username and like deleted all my content or like archived. I don't know what happened, but Autumn Hashi Design did not exist. And I was like, panic mode, because I was like, how dumb am I? And like, I wanted to be verified, and that's why this happened. Now you just pay for it.
It's wild.
It's silly. And
I'm
so
like, why? Like, that's not it. I'm like, I got verified or like organically.
See, that's what.
But now I'm like, I want to unverify myself because it's like fuck that.
So
I'm like everyone's mom and grandma is verified now.
Literally, yeah. Also me.
Whatever, who cares?
But honestly, like I still feel like it has like a little bit of weight to it. Like when you see someone who's verified.
But not everyone can pay for it.
I know, but still, when you're seeing people and you're responding and you're like reaching out to brands, I feel like it does have an impact, even if it's subconsciously, because there was so long that like being verified was like the thing. So anyway,
it's true.
I ended up getting it back because shout out to Alyssa from Bell. She ended up like working her magic and getting in there because they also wanted a ransom. They only wanted $500, but I was like, "Fuck that! I'm not giving you any dollars." And like, and I was like, I was just about to launch my show, and so obviously your social media is important. Yeah. Because like the TV show wanted to leverage my social media as well to like promote the show, and so I'm panicking and I'm like messaging like my producers and the people at Bell, and like anyway. Thank God for Alyssa. She got it back.
Yeah, I didn't get mine back, and like that account doesn't exist anymore. I've tried to look for it.
That's the worst too, because you can't even get any of that content back. Yeah. And like and I've been posting on Instagram for like 10 years. Same. And like I lost all that. Now I archived all of it because sometimes I go through periods where I'm like, I'm starting over.
Yeah, same. All the time. I'm like, I need a rebrand.
Autumn Hashi has 4 posts.
Do you also like? Have you ever been shadow banned? I got shadow banned because I posted a photo of a Simpson El Chapo, and then for 4 weeks I couldn't do anything. Like my account wasn't existed.
What?
Yeah. I'm like, and then there's like people putting like naked photos of themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who the fuck like someone like must have said something.
That's so weird.
Like a Simpson El Chapo.
It's risque.
No more El Chapo postings for me.
Did you know that you can only follow 7,500 people?
I probably almost had that.
Because I follow that amount. And so when I meet people out and about, I'm like, cool.
6,
Let me just go and unfollow 10 people
6,
so that I can.
I know. I follow a lot of people too.
Me too. Everyone I meet. And I'm like the easiest follow. Like some people, like, I don't know how people are just like, I don't know if I'm going to follow you. I'm like, I meet you. I'm following you. Yeah. Like I'm here.
I'm following like artists, like photographers, like directors. Yeah. Like my database is big.
But it's embarrassing when you're like out and about and someone's like, oh, I'll follow you. And I'm like, I'll follow you back. And then I can't. And they're like looking at me like, you bitch.
You're maxed out. Why did they max you out?
I don't know. But every now and then I have to do like an unfollow spree. And it's annoying. I wish there was like a better way to like filter and just like, yeah.
Agreed.
So anyway, that was another side tangent. Ryan suggested we go on that tangent.
Keep going.
No.
No.
This is a 4-hour podcast. Yeah. Welcome to our fucking movie, feature film featuring James Cameron.
We should do a feature film.
We keep on like turning off the camera and then turning the camera back on because we just have so many things to talk about. Okay, so I made a joke when you sat down because you took your shoes off, and I was like, Foot Finder, and you're like, yeah, I actually like fucked around with that one. So tell me that story.
Okay, well, things get hard sometimes when you're creative, and it was a very slow time. Wasn't auditioning. Paintings weren't going anywhere.
Look, we've all thought about it.
Okay, but then I was like, okay, I could do OnlyFans.
Okay.
But then I was like, I can't because then it'll fuck up my career.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to, I mean, I would.
Yeah, I mean, you would do well.
I was like, crossplay, I would wear a wig, I would be like a little kitty, whatever. Like I thought about all the ideas, like I'll make it really artsy. But I was like, I think my dad would be
all the comments are gonna be like, we're here for this.
Yeah, literally. So then I was like, okay, well, what can I do that won't show my face? So I went to Foot Finder, made an account, put a couple photos up.
See, like this is you made moves. Like I've looked at the website.
I've made moves. So then I get a message. My first message, some guy's like, I just love your feet. I will send you $1,500 every month for 3. I was like, yo, I'm in. Caking. This guy was trying to scam me. Okay. He was like, send me like this link to your PayPal and then do this. And I was like, okay, this sounds sketch. So I was like, I got really defeated. I was like, oh, like I was like, at first I was like, oh my God, this is so easy, $1,500 already. I'm like, I'm just caking it. But yeah, so like I started it, put 3 photos up, but then I was like, wait, I have like, my feet have tattoos on them that are very recognizable. I'm like, and it's also like, it is a job.
Yeah. So
I'm like, you have to like commit to it. And I was like, this is not for me.
I've went like down TikTok rabbit holes because creatives, it is hard times, and like it's like any other job. Like you can be successful selling
But
feet
you
pictures,
have to actually
but it's your job.
like,
Like you have to actually do it.
I was like, yeah, this is not for me. Because I was
Ryan
like,
and I have talked about it so many times, and because he's like, we can make like cinematic.
you should. Like, if your boyfriend is supporting
just
it,
fuck up the game and have like the most like dreamy.
I was like,
slow-mo.
I was like, do I like have like, and like, I'm like, how do I make, like, I don't even have nice feet either. My like second toe is like bigger than my, I'm like,
Yeah, but maybe that's a thing. Maybe people are
probably,
into
but I was
that.
like, I feel like, yeah, I just like, I was like, I can't commit to this. Like, I actually have to like put
It's a
work in.
commitment, for sure.
You have to like,
Yeah.
to get followers, and I'm like, not for
And
me.
like I feel like most of the foot people, like they're also like active on Twitter, and they're like your life becomes foot content. I don't think you can just like casually
no, you
be
can't.
a foot person.
I thought I could.
Maybe if anyone's listening and they're like a casual on the side on the DL foot person, let us know,
yeah.
because we want to know, like, who doesn't want to make extra money just by taking pictures of your feet?
I was like, I'm down.
like,
oh, well, my phone was, but yeah, I was like, oh my God, this is so easy, but then it's not easy.
yeah, I don't think it's easy, and I think
not.
that there has to be a level of like commitment to the game.
So then I was like, what else can I do?
Yeah,
I don't know. Haven't discovered it yet, but
now you have.
I literally thought of doing like OnlyFans so many times.
I feel like, honestly, if OnlyFans was around when I was 19, y'all would have seen all of me. Because I was like, I was going down that model mayhem route, like doing
oh my God,
like,
I had an account.
oh my God. Like, we were just trying to be like hot chicks. And like, I don't know, I wanted to like be in, Maxim. Like, I don't fucking know. So stupid. But
Yeah.
like if OnlyFans was around back then, oh my God, like, I'm so grateful that it wasn't, because
same.
Shorty was an entrepreneur. I wanted to make some money. Like,
I mean, look at, what's her name? Like Jessie Andrews and Kelly Wearstler, whatever her name is. She's like a big interior designer. Do you know
Kelly
her?
Wearstler, yeah.
Wearstler, yeah. Porn star. You know that?
Kelly Wearstler was a porn star?
Yes.
Shut
Yes.
up. No, she
Yes,
wasn't.
she was.
I'm screaming.
Oh, fine. I'll show you.
Stop
Yeah.
it.
And same with
I don't believe it. I need to see.
I'll show you right now. She was a porn star.
I don't. I'm in.
You didn't know this?
Shock.
Yeah.
No, she's the most iconic designer on
Yeah,
earth. I had no
dude,
idea she was a porn star.
Her, and then also
She was probably. She's smoking hot.
She was so hot. Wait.
Kelly. What do you just type in? Kelly Wearstler porn.
Yeah, porn star. Hold on. It's hard to find. She like took a lot of it off.
Well, now I'm just getting porn videos. It's Kelly Gallagher, masturbator superstar. That's not what I want.
I'll find it for you. Hold on.
No, these are all just pictures of her being a gorgeous, iconic designer, which is all I've known her for. That's insane. I don't even believe it.
I'm showing you one second.
Stop it.
She was a porn star. But like what I was trying to say is there's a lot of people that go into from porn and then become like really like, successful.
I'm gonna get so many bad ads after this.
Sorry.
I can't find it. If anyone show me offline.
I'm
but
showing you right now.
That is the most shocking information I've ever heard. And now I need to know. I don't even know Kelly's origin story. I just know that I'm obsessed with her.
Kelly Gallagher. That was her.
Oh yeah, because she would have probably got married.
That is her.
Kelly, you are a babe. Been a babe, is a babe.
See? But like
pubic hair,
Yeah.
bush/natural.
Yes, she had a
She
big
was
bush.
Playmate of the Month, February 1994. Oh,
1990.
these are her tits.
Yeah.
Kelly looks amazing.
See?
Wow.
But
This
just-
is like so vintage.
But just to tell you is like sometimes you gotta do the things to do to
I'm
get yourself into like
shocked. I wonder if she's ever talked about this on an interview. I've never seen that. But okay, everybody, y'all need to look up Kelly. Kelly looks good. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, now we're done.
Now we're done. Now we've side quest complete.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Foot Finder's too challenging. Kelly Wearstler was a porn star, and yep. Okay, I think we're coming up on an hour, which is insane. That was the fastest conversation I've ever had. So where can people find you, Dina?
My Instagram.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The Instagram that she hates. No.
My Instagram. Yeah.
What's your Instagram handle?
Dina Roudman.
Okay, and
I have two. Oh wait, also I have two Instagrams.
What's the other one?
Dina_Roudman.
Okay, what's the difference between the two?
One is just full art. There's like, I don't follow anyone but artists and art galleries there, and it's like very professional. And the other one is like more my personal.
And then when is your upcoming show, and what can people expect? When? Where?
It's November 21st. It's at Capsule Studio in Liberty. They can expect to be unexpected. What should I say? They can expect to be unexpected. I don't know.
Expect the unexpected at Dina's playground.
It's called Playground. It's gonna be all about like childhood and like having like that the play and freedom of the childlike mind.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Seasons podcast. If you loved this conversation as much as we did, it would mean the world if you could take a moment to leave a 5-star rating and review. Your support helps us reach more listeners and continue bringing you inspiring stories and insights. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and we'll see you next time.